So your opener says 425 on it, but it's actually the first day of May. So yay, we're in our last home stretch here. Okay, this is what your quiz is going to look like on Friday. For each pair, find a number that multiplies to M and adds to A. Hey Mike, we need to do this during unstructured time. Right now, this is learning time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my M. So my M across the top row here are all the same, 50. So I'm going to think of everything that I can multiply together to get 50. So all the factors of 50. Then use those same numbers to see what I can add together to get A. So we're going to go in order. So 1 and 50, then 2 and 25, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're back to 10. So I know that that's all my factor pairs of 50. Okay, so I'm going to look at these pairs, and I'm going to determine which of these can I now add together to get my A, which is 51. Mackenzie? Huh? Yes. Who can do the first one for me? Daisha? 1 plus 50 will get me to 51, but 1 times 50 will get me to 50. Okay? Jaden, second one. We're on the second one.
I know, that's what I said, the third one.
Mackenzie already has 30. 5 and 10. Sorry. And then the third one. Mackenzie. 2 and 25. On top of my keyboard.
Now you can see if you got any pressure on it.
Yes, Cody.
I had it in my pocket.
Is it in your case? Not right now. Right now we need to be getting this down. Okay, the next one. We're going to do, the M is 180. My A's are going to be different for each one. So my M is 180, so I'm going to think of all my multiples or all my factors of 180. And again, I like to do them in order. So I have 1 times 180.
Oh, can I do it?
Okay, go ahead.
2 and 90.
Okay.
3 and 60.
Okay.
4 and 45. 5 and 36. Um, 6 and 30. You can't do 7.
Okay.
Can't do 8 either. 9 and 20. 10 and 18. Keep going.
Yep. Can you do 11?
Nope.
Can you do 12?
Yes, you can. Yep.
What is it?
15.
Can you do 13?
Dang, what 13 is?
What about 180? 13 times what equals 180 or 180? Nope. What about 14?
Dang.
14 times 14.
Nope. Okay. And then after 14 is 15. So we know we've already used 15, so we're done. So now I'm going to look. Which of these factors, raise your hand if you know, please. Which of these factors can I now add together to get 49? Michael.
4 and 45.
Okay. Good. So 4 times 45 will get me my M, which is 180. But 4 plus 45 will get me my A for adding a 49. Raise your hand if you can answer the second one for me. Michael again.
12 and 15.
Nice.
I can do the last one.
All right, finish it off for us then. Bless you.
I will skip this one. I can't find anything good.
Can anybody else find anything? Any of these numbers can you add together to get 25?
No.
Uh-uh.
No.
So what is it gonna be? It's a challenge, bro.
Can't do.
Wait.
So,
You just told us
what
earlier.
I'm telling you this is if you have all your factor pairs done, on occasion, now I'm saying on occasion because not real often will I give you a problem where you can't end up doing it. But on occasion, it's going to come to where a number you can't find factors that will multiply together to get 180, then add together to get your A. Okay, flip it over to your back side of your opener. This back side of your opener is going to be what today's lesson consists of. So, the back of today's opener is basically what we're going to learn how to do today. So it says factor the following expression using the area model. Now, we know that this expression that I have right now is the area. The way that I know, or the reason why I know it's the area and not the height and the width, is because there's no parentheses. I have 3 terms and 4 boxes. So that means that I'm going to need to find an area for 2 of the boxes. This 10a squared is going to be the area of my top left box. This 27a is going to be cut between the second and third box. And this 18 is going to be the area of this 4th box. Before I can start solving all of that, I'm going to have to come up with what the m is and what the a is. That m and a is going to tell me what the area is going to be of the second and third. So how we're going to find the MA of this expression, so I'm going to write my MA, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to find the M, which means multiply, by taking my first coefficient times my third coefficient. When I say coefficient, all that means is the number. So I'm not worrying about the variables right now. So I'm going to take my first number times my third number. So 10 times 18 is 180. My A is then my second coefficient. It's my second number. What's my second number here? 27. Now, this is where you guys put to use the new stuff that you learned on Monday. What's the MA? So your M is 180, your A is 27. So what can you multiply together to get 180, but then add together to get 27? And if you actually look on the front of your opener, you guys already have all the factors of 80. So which of those factors can you now add together to get 27? 12 and 15? Okay, so my M and A is going to be 12 and 15. Now, if I add these two numbers together, I get 27, right? That represents my middle term. So if that represents my middle term, the 12 is going to represent one of my areas, and the 15 is going to represent the other of my areas of that area model. It does not matter which you put, like if you want to put the 12 one here, fine. If you want to put the 12 here, fine. It does not matter if you put the 12 or 15 here or the 12 or 15 there, meaning you can flip-flop them. Now, how I do it is I always put my smaller number in my upper right-hand corner. The reason why I always put my smaller number in my upper right-hand corner is because it's easier for me to factor that way. Thank you. Because it's easier for me to factor that way, I would recommend that you also put your smaller number in the upper right-hand corner. Okay? So, after I find my MA, I go ahead and I plug my areas in for each rectangle. So, the area of my first rectangle is what? What goes here? 10a squared. Now, my top right rectangle, remember I said it's this 27a that I found my MA for, the 12 and 15. So I'm going to put my 12 there because it's smaller. Now, because this 12 is made up of this 27, what variable needs to go with that 12? A. Okay, my bottom left area. 15, and what variable goes with it? Okay, and then my bottom right area. 18. Perfect. So there's the first part of your new lesson. Now, the next step is going to be to find the greatest common factor. You're going to find the greatest common factor of your top row. The greatest common factor then becomes our what? What does our greatest common factor become on our area model? It represents the height. So we're going to find the greatest common factor, which will give us the height of our top row. Now, you can do the greatest common factor by two ways here. The first way, you can do your factor trees off to the side. Your second way is to just think, what number can 10 and 12 both be divided by? What's the biggest number that 10 and 12 can both be divided by? Okay? So, if you're not good at thinking the second way, then I would recommend you come over, you find some scratch paper or some areas, and you factor it out. So I'm going to come right under my M. Okay, 10. What times what is 10?
5 times 2.
Can I do anything else with that? No. Okay, what about for 12?
6 and 2. It's only 3.
Okay, so I'm going to list my numbers. So what do they share here? Okay, a pair of 2. What variable do they both share? So my greatest common factor represents the height of this first row, which you guys said was 2A. So really, we're just working the area model, and we're only worried about the top portion of it right now. So kind of ignore this bottom part right now. So I know the height, and I know the area, so now I'm ready to find the width. Now, this is where it becomes important that we always remember height goes first, width goes second, and area goes on the bottom of my rectangle. So I think to myself, 2 times what will get me to 10?
5. Won't it be 5?
It will be A, 5A, because I have 1A in my height, but I have 2 A's in my total area. So what is the width of this rectangle?
5.
Now, if the width of this rectangle is 5A, what's the width of the rectangle underneath it going to be?
5.
It's going to be the same, right? Do I put my width first or second?
6.
Second. So I'm just going to bring that on down so I don't forget about it. Now, you can wait to do this step last, like after I finish the top row. I like to bring it down so I just don't forget. So then I go to find the width of my second rectangle. 2A times what gets me to 12A?
6.
Now, if I made it 6A, this answer would be 12A squared. So just 6. So the width of this rectangle is 6. So if this is width is 6, what's this width going to be? 6. So I'm going to bring that 6 down. Am I going to put it first or second? Okay. So now what information am I trying to find? What information am I missing? The height. Now, this height and this height are not the same. So I can't just bring that 2A down. So all I have to do is think, what times 5A will get me to 15A? Now, if I take 3 times 6, will that equal 18? Yeah. So if that both works out, then I know my height is what? 3. So I bring that on the outside of my area model. Now, we're almost done. The last thing that we have to do is remember, area equals what? Height times. So I'm going to show that by putting my equal sign. What am I going to put around my height? So I'm going to put parenthesis 2A plus 3 in parentheses. So that's my height times. So what am I going to put around my width to show that I'm multiplying that? So 5A, because put them in order, plus 6 in parentheses, and then box.